Margaret Daniels was not just an ordinary elementary school teacher, she was a beacon of inspiration in her community. With a heart full of passion, she dedicated her life to teaching young minds about the importance of civil rights and social justice. Every day, Margaret stepped into her classroom with a mission: to empower her students to understand the value of equality and kindness. Her classroom was vibrant and alive with colorful posters that illustrated historic figures and events in the fight for civil rights. Students often found themselves captivated by stories of bravery and hope, as Margaret shared tales about influential leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She encouraged her students to think critically about the world around them, sparking discussions on fairness, compassion, and the importance of standing up for what is right. Margaret believed that every child held the power to make a difference. She inspired them to dream big and taught them that their voices mattered. With each lesson, she aimed to cultivate empathy and understanding among her diverse group of students. They learned not only from textbooks but also from each other, sharing their own experiences and lessons about respect and acceptance. Her dedication did not stop within the classroom walls. Margaret organized activities that included community service projects and discussions with local activists. She wanted her students to connect their learning to real-life situations, instilling in them a sense of responsibility toward their communities. As the city buzzed with anticipation for Dr. King's visit to Memphis, Margaret sensed this was more than just a field trip. It was a chance for her students to witness history firsthand. Little did she know that this experience would forever change both their lives and the life of a great leader. The stage was set for an unforgettable encounter that would leave an imprint on their hearts. As the day of the field trip approached, Margaret Daniels poured her heart into preparing her students for their visit to see Dr. King. She wanted them to understand not just who he was, but why his work mattered so much. Margaret created a series of engaging lessons that brought history to life, transforming her classroom into a vibrant hub of learning and excitement. Using storytelling as her main tool, she shared captivating tales about Dr. King's life, his dreams, and the struggles faced during the civil rights movement. Each story was filled with moments of bravery and hope, encouraging her students to see themselves as part of a larger narrative. They learned about key events like the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, discussing how ordinary people stood up for justice. To make the lessons even more interactive, Margaret organized activities that involved role-playing and debates. Students took on different roles, acting out scenes from history or debating important questions about equality and fairness. This hands-on approach sparked their imaginations and helped them connect emotionally with the material. Margaret also introduced the idea of music as a powerful form of expression in the civil rights movement. Together, they listened to songs like "We Shall Overcome" and discussed their meanings. The children were moved by the lyrics and began to understand how music could inspire hope and unity. As excitement grew in the classroom, Margaret encouraged her students to think about what they would say to Dr. King when they met him. They practiced expressing their thoughts clearly, emphasizing kindness and respect. By fostering this sense of preparation and connection to history, Margaret ensured that her students were not only excited for their trip but also ready to engage meaningfully with a leader who had changed the world. The day of the field trip finally arrived, and the excitement in Margaret's classroom was palpable. As the students boarded the bus, their hearts raced with anticipation. They chattered eagerly, sharing their hopes for the visit and what they might say to Dr. King. The bus ride to Memphis felt like a journey into history, as they gazed out the windows, imagining all the stories they had learned about civil rights unfolding around them. Margaret took a moment to calm her students as they traveled. She reminded them of the importance of this day, explaining how meeting Dr. King was not just a fun trip but a chance to connect with someone who had dedicated his life to fighting for equality and justice. This was a monumental event in the civil rights movement, and they were part of it. As they approached Memphis, the landscape changed from familiar streets to bustling city sounds filled with energy and purpose. The students could feel that something special awaited them. They practiced what they would say to Dr. King one last time, their voices rising above the hum of excitement on the bus. When they finally arrived at their destination, the atmosphere was electric. Crowds gathered, filled with people who shared a common goal of peace and equality. Margaret could see her students wide-eyed with wonder as they took in the scene around them. The significance of this moment settled in, the chance to meet an icon who represented hope and change. As they lined up to greet Dr. King, Margaret felt a mix of pride and joy. She knew her students were about to witness something extraordinary, an experience that would shape their understanding of courage and compassion forever. With each step closer, her heart swelled with hope for what this day would bring, both for her students and for the world around them. As the students stood in line, their hearts raced with anticipation. The moment they had been waiting for had finally arrived. Dr. King appeared before them, surrounded by a crowd of supporters and admirers, his presence radiating warmth and strength. Margaret watched as her students gazed up at him in awe, their eyes wide with wonder. This was not just a man, this was a symbol of hope, courage, and change. When Dr. King approached the group, he greeted each child with a smile that lit up his face. He knelt down to their level, making each student feel seen and valued. "Hello, young leaders," he said, his voice kind and encouraging. The students beamed with pride at being called leaders, feeling an instant connection to the beloved figure in front of them. Margaret noticed how Dr. King listened intently as her students shared their names and expressed their excitement about meeting him. His genuine interests made them feel special and important. He spoke to them about the power of their dreams and the impact they could have on the world if they believed in themselves and stood up for what is right. As they gathered around him, Margaret felt a surge of emotion. This was a moment she had hoped for, a chance for her students to witness the grace and wisdom of Dr. King firsthand. She could see their fears melt away, replaced by inspiration and determination. When Dr. King encouraged them to keep dreaming big, the students felt empowered. They realized that they were part of something larger than themselves, connected to a movement that sought justice and equality for all. In that unforgettable moment, Margaret knew that her students would carry this experience with them forever, igniting their passion for change and igniting their hearts with courage. As Dr. King continued to speak with the students, there was a palpable sense of unity among them. Inspired by his words in the moment, one brave student broke the silence. It started as a soft hum, then another joined in, until the sound blossomed into a powerful chorus. They began to sing, "We shall overcome," their voices rising harmoniously in the warm Memphis air. Margaret watched as her students' enthusiasm transformed the atmosphere around them. The song had been a central part of their classroom discussions, and now it filled the space with hope and spirit. Each child sang with heart, their faces glowing with pride as they expressed their belief in change through music. The crowd surrounding them began to notice, captivated by the innocent yet profound performance. Dr. King immediately recognized the significance of their song and was taken by surprise. He turned to face the children fully, his eyes sparkling with admiration as he listened intently to their voices. The emotion of the moment washed over him, and he could feel a deep connection forming between these young singers and his lifelong dream of justice. As they finished their rendition, applause erupted from the gathered crowd. Margaret's heart swelled with joy as she saw Dr. King's smile widen in delight. He stepped forward, visibly moved by the demonstration of solidarity and hope from these young students who had embraced his message so completely. In that moment, Dr. King knelt down once more, applauding them for their courage and unity. He praised their performance and encouraged them to continue spreading love and hope through song. This spontaneous act of expression not only surprised him but also solidified an unforgettable bond between Dr. King and Margaret's students, a memory they would carry with them forever as they continued their journey for equality and justice. As the last notes of "We Shall Overcome" faded into the warm Memphis air, a powerful silence enveloped the gathering. Dr. King stood before the students, his heart swelling with emotion. The innocent voices of these young children had resonated deeply within him, reigniting his passion for the cause he had dedicated his life to. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of unity and hope, as if the very spirit of the civil rights movement had come alive in that moment. Dr. King's eyes glistened with tears as he took in the sight of their beaming faces, filled with pride and determination. He felt a wave of inspiration wash over him, reminding him of why he fought so hard for justice and equality. These children embodied the future he envisioned, a future where love and understanding triumphed over hate and division. Moved by their performance, Dr. King stepped forward, drawing closer to the group of young singers. He could see how their enthusiasm and belief in change mirrored his own dreams for America. It was a beautiful reminder that hope could emerge from even the youngest voices. In his heart, he knew that their song would echo far beyond this moment, inspiring others to join in the fight for justice. As he knelt down to speak with them again, Dr. King's smile radiated warmth and encouragement. He praised their courage in sharing their voices and reminded them that they had the power to make a difference in the world. His heartfelt words served not only to uplift them but also to strengthen his own resolve. In that poignant moment, surrounded by love and unity, Dr. King felt rejuvenated by their spirit. The children's singing was more than just a performance. It was a reminder that together they could overcome any obstacle in pursuit of equality and justice for all. In the midst of the applause and joy following the students' performance, a profound stillness descended upon the crowd as Dr. King turned his attention toward Margaret Daniels. He took a few steps forward, his gaze steady and sincere, as he approached the teacher who had inspired these young voices. In a moment that seemed to freeze time, he opened his arms wide and drew her into a warm embrace. The connection between Margaret and Dr. King was palpable. In that embrace, they shared an unspoken understanding of the importance of education in the fight for justice. Margaret felt an overwhelming wave of gratitude and honor flood over her as she returned his hug, knowing that this moment was a culmination of her dedication as an educator and the dreams they both held for the future. The crowd around them noticed the significance of this gesture, a powerful display of solidarity between a leader of the civil rights movement and the teacher who had nurtured hope in her students. As they embraced, Dr. King whispered something into Margaret's ear. It was just quiet enough for only her to hear. The words he spoke held deep meaning, affirming her efforts and encouraging her to continue inspiring others in the battle for equality. As they broke apart, Margaret's eyes sparkled with emotion. She could see the warmth in Dr. King's expression, a blend of appreciation and recognition for the role educators play in shaping leaders of tomorrow. The audience burst into cheers, but for Margaret, time seemed to stand still with this personal moment shared publicly. This heartfelt embrace became a symbol of unity and purpose. It reminded everyone present that the spirit of change rested not only with great leaders like Dr. King but also with dedicated teachers like Margaret, whose passion cultivated the seeds of hope and justice in young hearts. It was a memory she knew she would carry with her forever, a testament to the power of connection across generations in the pursuit of equality. As the embrace began to loosen, Dr. King leaned in closer to Margaret, his voice just above a whisper, yet full of passion and conviction. "You are planting seeds of hope in these children," he said, his eyes locked onto hers with unwavering sincerity. "Never underestimate the power of your work. Every lesson you teach has the potential to change the world." Margaret felt a rush of emotion at his words. It was not just a compliment, it was a deep acknowledgement of her role as an educator and the significant impact she had on her students' lives. In that brief exchange, Dr. King tapped into the essence of what she had always believed but sometimes doubted, that teachers hold incredible influence in shaping future generations. His words struck a chord within her, reminding her that every time she sparked curiosity or fostered understanding around issues of justice and equality, she was contributing to a greater cause. She could almost visualize the ripples of their conversation spreading outwards, reaching not only her students but also their families and communities. The idea that her teaching could resonate beyond the classroom filled her with renewed purpose. Dr. King continued, "These children can be leaders today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Encourage them to dream big and fight for what is right." The weight of his message settled into her heart like a cherished treasure. It was clear that he believed in them. Each child represented not just potential, but power and affecting change. As they stepped back from each other, Margaret felt as if she had been entrusted with a sacred mission. These whispered words from Dr. King were more than just encouragement. They became a guiding light in her teaching career, driving her commitment to nurture empathy, critical thinking, and courage in every child she taught. This moment would forever be etched in her mind as a defining point in her journey as an educator and an advocate for justice. In the days and weeks following their unforgettable encounter with Dr. King, Margaret Daniels and her students were filled with a renewed sense of purpose. The experience had transformed their understanding of civil rights and their role in shaping a more just world. Back in the classroom, they eagerly shared stories about their meeting, recounting how they sang, "We shall overcome," and felt the power of unity wash over them. Inspired by Dr. King's words, the students began to see themselves as active participants in the ongoing struggle for justice. They organized discussions about the importance of civil rights, delving deeper into key events and figures beyond Dr. King, such as Rosa Parks and Malcolm X. Margaret encouraged them to explore different perspectives, fostering meaningful conversations about equality and empathy. Their classroom became a hub of activism as students initiated projects that spread awareness about social issues within their community. They created posters promoting kindness and respect, held bake sales to raise funds for local charities, and even wrote letters to government officials advocating for change. Each activity was infused with the spirit of hope that Dr. King had inspired in them. Margaret also invited guest speakers, local activists and community leaders, to share their experiences with her class, allowing students to connect their learning to real-world applications. The children listened intently, asking questions and absorbing every lesson with eager minds. The whispers of Dr. King's encouragement echoed in their hearts as they learned that they too could be agents of change. As time went on, these young scholars became advocates in their own right, carrying the message of love and justice into their neighborhoods and beyond. Margaret watched proudly as her students grew into compassionate individuals ready to face challenges head-on, knowing that they carried with them the seeds of hope planted by both Dr. King and her dedicated teaching. Their journey had only just begun, but it was clear that this remarkable encounter would shape their lives for years to come. The legacy of Dr. King's encounter with Margaret Daniels and her students rippled far beyond that memorable day in Memphis. The inspiration sparked by their meeting kindled a flame of activism and awareness within the hearts of those young children, empowering them to become advocates for equality and justice in their communities. As they grew older, many of these students carried forward the lessons learned from Dr. King's example, impacting future generations. Margaret continued to nurture this spirit of activism in her classroom, sharing the story of their encounter with Dr. King every year as part of her curriculum. Each new class would hear about the power of unity, the importance of fighting for what is right, and how even the smallest voice could contribute to monumental change. Inspired by this tale, students would often launch their own initiatives, organizing events to promote understanding among different cultures or starting programs to assist those in need. The impact extended into the community as former students returned to share their experiences and achievements with younger generations. They spoke passionately about justice, encouraging others to engage in their surroundings and be active participants in shaping a better world. Their efforts created a cycle of inspiration. Those who had once stood in Margaret's classroom now served as role models themselves. Years later, the seeds planted by Dr. King's words echoed through the lives of countless individuals who had been touched by his message. The world saw a new wave of passionate advocates rising up, each inspired by their own stories of hope that began in that transformative moment when they met a great leader. Ultimately, Dr. King's legacy lived on through these students and educators, reminding everyone that the journey toward equality and justice is ongoing and requires collective effort. Through their unwavering commitment to social change, they ensured that Dr. King's vision for a better future would continue to flourish for generations to come.